Well, welcome to our fall 2020 Beta Gamma Sigma induction ceremony. We have a great program planned for you tonight. We have a lot of interesting individuals who are going to be inducted into Beta Gamma Sigma tonight. Beta Gamma Sigma is our International Business Honor Society. This is the highest honor distinction that we can place on our students. In order to be inducted into Beta Gamma Sigma, you have to be in the top 10% of the undergraduate class, top 20% of the graduate class. So you all are to be applauded tonight for such great distinction and honor that you have achieved here in the College of Business.
Why you name that up there?
We have students to be inducted tonight, 13 students. We also have our chapter honoree, Ms. Sharon Hill, who I will be introducing tonight. So in terms of the order of the program, you should have that on the screen that is being shared to you. We will have, and let me introduce myself for those of you who may not know me. My name is Donald Andrews. I'm Dean of the College of Business. It's my pleasure to serve as the Beta Gamma Sigma chapter president. We will have an invocation by Mrs. Jasmine Banks, who is the academic program specialist here in the College of Business. Then we will have induction of new members. Dr. Joseph Omanuk, professor of accounting, will basically read the induction ceremony program. That will be followed by a presentation of candidates by Dr. Kimberly Powell Deloach, who is our treasurer, secretary, and faculty advisor for our Beta Gamma Sigma chapter. Then we will have the induction of the chapter honoree, Ms. Sharon Hill, and then I will introduce Ms. Sharon Hill, who will serve as our guest speaker for tonight. So she will bring a keynote address and then followed by a set of closing remarks by yours truly. So now we will move forward with our program. And we're really excited that we can induct you tonight. As you know, COVID-19 caused problems in the spring, and we were not able to hold our normal traditional induction. So we are so wonderful for you to be here tonight, even though it's through electronic means or virtual means. It's still more or less a high honor for us to bestow upon you, and thank you for accepting our invitation into Beta Gamma Sigma. Again, the highest honor society for colleges of business. Just to give you a little history, the only way you can be inducted into Beta Gamma Sigma is that you have to have high academic standards. You also have to have a college that is accredited by AACSB International. AACSB International is the highest accrediting body for colleges of business, not only in the United States, but globally. We've been accredited by AACSB since 1998, and we inducted our first chapter in 1999. So this is our 21st year with respect to induction into Beta Gamma Sigma. And I also want to thank Dr. Powell Deloach for all the work she does and has done in putting this program together, as well as Ms. Jasmine Banks, as well as Dr. Omanuk for their participation in the program tonight. This will be our first induction ceremony without Dr. Shagri Igletu, who has been promoted to Dean of the Graduate School, but we surely hope he will be here, if not on the program, but participating as far as being a spectator of the program. So let's move ahead to the invocation by Ms. Jasmine Banks. Ms. Banks.
Thank you, Dean. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we come to you this evening as humble as we know how. We ask that you continue to watch over and bless our nation, our university, and the College of Business. We ask that you guide our administrators, faculty, staff, and our students to use their minds and talents productively so that Southern University and the College of Business may continue to stand for what its founders intended. Heavenly Father, we thank you for these young, brilliant minds who have worked tirelessly to afford themselves the opportunity to be inducted into the most prestigious honor society recognized in the world of business. Continue to lead them to excellence and in a way that you see fit. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Thank you, Ms. Banks, for that excellent invocation. Next, we will have the induction ceremony of new members into Beta Gamma Sigma, and that will be performed by Dr. Joseph Omanuk, again, Professor of Accounting. Thank you, Dr. Omanuk.
Thank you, Dean, and everybody, you're welcome. So I'm gonna go through, some issues. The Dean has already alluded to some of them, the history, the principles, but I can re-echo them if you permit me. So on behalf of Beta Gamma Sigma Board of Governors and the Global Headquarters staff, we would like to welcome you to this membership recognition ceremony. You have been invited to become a member of Beta Gamma Sigma as you have shown an outstanding aptitude for business studies and have demonstrated your work ethic and determination. This event is testament to your hard work. We are honored to have you join as a new member. This recognition ceremony symbolizes your induction into a very exclusive group of top business scholars. Beta Gamma Sigma chapters are only permitted to be established at business schools that have worked to attain the prestigious ASCSB International accreditation. The Dean had emphasized on that before. Currently, just over 845 universities world over have earned this accreditation. Of that number, over 600 have established Beta Gamma Sigma chapters. From the pool of Beta Gamma Sigma chapters, only the top 10% of undergraduate students and the top 20% of graduate students and some of the most accomplished business practitioners are eligible to be recognized as a member. Briefly about the history of the organization and members. Beta Gamma Sigma's origin dates back to the earliest days of the 20th century. During that time, business students were largely excluded from consideration from other societies recognizing academic excellence. As a response, 3 student recognition societies on the campuses of University of California, Berkeley, University of Illinois, and the University of Wisconsin came together in 1913 to establish a national organization which was named Beta Gamma Sigma. This name was chosen to represent the initials of 3 distinguished business professors at the University of Wisconsin. 100+ years later, Beta Gamma Sigma is the largest organization in the world that honors business school graduates internationally. Just for emphasis, Beta Gamma Sigma membership is the highest honor that a business student attending an ASCSB accredited school can achieve. Members are all over the world and currently reside in over 190 countries. Beta Gamma Sigma members serve in a wide array of industries and are not focused on one specific professional area. This allows unique opportunities for our members to network with a variety of other business professionals from all walks of life. Principles of Beta Gamma Sigma. Beta Gamma Sigma is founded on a set of 3 principles which serve as pillars for everything the society does. Each principle is represented by a Greek word. These words coincide with the initials of our society. I'd like to share these principles with you now. Beta. Beta is the initial letter of the Greek word babeos, which signifies honor. Honor is defined as personal integrity as well as excellence of character. It is a prerequisite for those who lead others. It also encourages altruism and enlightened social responsibility and service. Gamma. Gamma is the initial letter of the Greek word gnosis, which signifies wisdom. Wisdom is knowledge tested by experience and tempered by discerning judgment. It avoids prejudice and insists on freedom of thought and expression. Those who are wise seek a better comprehension and a more fruitful application of what is known. They engage in a continuous quest for understanding. Sigma. Sigma is the initial letter of the Greek word spude, which signifies earnestness. Earnestness is enthusiasm measured by achievement, reason, and sincerity. It is that dynamic quality which is essential for all great achievements. Individuals who reflect earnestness inspire confidence, invite action, and generate progress. Explanation of the key symbol. The symbol of the beta gamma sigma is the key. This symbol also represents our ideals of honor, wisdom, and earnestness, and it is inscribed with the Greek letters which represent the society's name. We ask that all members who wear this key to do so with our principles in mind. For the members inducted tonight, the key will be delivered to you as soon as possible. Closing and congratulations. We're kind of doing this in the order because we're in the virtual space. So please, pardon our if things are not flowing as we ought to. Because I'm already saying closing, but the program is still going on. But I'm doing my closing, my own side of things. So I cannot say that now that the principles and symbols of our society have been shared, each of you will be presented with a membership certificate and LEPO key pin to outwardly symbolize your membership. We shall present those items as soon as possible. Please accept our sincerest congratulations and welcome to Beta Gamma Sigma. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Omanuk. You did an excellent job.
Thank you.
Congratulations to those that are being inducted into Beta Gamma Sigma. Now we will have the presentation of candidates by Dr. Kimberly Powell. think Dr. Powell is sharing her screen. While Dr. Powell is sharing her screen, again, we want to thank our 13 inductees tonight, as well as our chapter honoree. So I think we have our chapter inductees being presented. I'm not sure if Dr. Powell is muted.
Dr. Powell, you're on mute.
Yes.
Okay, our first inductee was Miss Asia Alexander. She is a marketing major in the College of Business. Congratulations, Miss Alexander. Our next inductee is Mr. Devin Boyd. He's an accounting major here in the College of Business. Congratulations, Devin. Our next inductee is Miss Whitley Franklin. Whitley is an accounting major here in the College of Business, and congratulations, Whitley. Our next inductee is Miss Amber Hickman. Miss Amber Hickman is an accounting major here in the College of Business. Congratulations, Amber. Next, we have Miss Jasmine Lindsay. Miss Jasmine is a business management major here in the College of Business. Congratulations, Jasmine. Next, we have Miss Cameron Parks. Miss Cameron Parks is a business management major here in the College of Business. Congratulations, Cameron. We have now Maria Ross. Maria is a business management major in the College of Business. Congratulations, Maria. And we have Miss Brittany Sanders. Miss Brittany Sanders is a finance major here in the College of Business. Congratulations, Brittany. I just want to thank and congratulate our high achieving undergraduate students who have earned the right to be inducted into Beta Gamma Sigma due to their high achievements. We congratulate you and we wish you nothing more than continued success. So let's move on to our fall 2020 graduate inductees. We first have Mr. John Assam. He's an MBA student with an accounting concentration. Congratulations, John. Next, we have Mr. Austin Banks, who's an MBA student with a concentration in human resources management. Congratulations, Austin. Our next inductee is Mr. Rashad Hicks. Mr. Hicks is also an MBA student concentrating in human resource management. Congratulations, Rashad. And we also have Miss Johnny Lewis, who's also an MBA student in the College of Business in the MBA program. And we also have Mr. Array Tanjong, who is an MBA student. He is concentrating in the area of accounting. Congratulations, Ari. And just like we thanked our undergraduate students, we would like to thank our MBA students as well. They have worked tirelessly and they have achieved great success in what they have done academically. And we wish them many, many more opportunities for success. again, candidates, we are so proud of you, and we hope that you use this membership, this lifetime membership in Beta Gamma Sigma, because there's so many ways in which you can use it. And your lapel pin and certificate are coming. Again, congratulations to all of our inductees. We thank you, and we're here for you in the College of Business. Dean Andrews.
Thank you, Dr. Powell. We really appreciate all the work you did, and I really want to congratulate our newest members of Beta Gamma Sigma. I was looking at those photographs, and we really have some great looking students who are being inducted here tonight. I don't know who did their photos, but they looked like they were glamorous photographs or whatever. So really want to compliment you for all the work you did in terms of putting together these programs. Now, you will be getting, as Dr. Powell indicated, you will be getting a key, a chapter pin key, and you will also be receiving a certificate. And your certificates will read, for recognition of high scholastic achievement, you have been selected for membership into Beta Gamma Sigma, the International Honor Society for Collegiate Schools of Business, Fall 2020. So that will be the inscription that you will have on your certificates, as well as your lapel pins that you will receive. So again, we really want to congratulate you and thank you for all the work that you have done in terms of your scholastic achievements here in the College of Business. You represent the best of the best, and we more or less are proud that you represent Southern University College of Business in terms of the fall 2020 inductees. So that concludes our presentation of candidates, but does not conclude our program. Tonight, we're happy that we were able to have a chapter honoree as part of our program. Chapter honoree is an individual who has achieved great distinction in their professional career. And as a result, we have recommended to Beta Gamma Sigma, Ms. Sharon Hill, who serves as the interim president of our College of Business Advisory Council. And Ms. Sharon Hill is a graduate of Southern University. She came to Southern University where she received her degree in computer science with the business option. So she has taken courses in the College of Business and has walked the halls of T.T. Lane just as you have. Sharon has great accomplishments through her career. She has worked tirelessly in terms of human resources. And as you see on the sheet, on the screen that's being shared, in terms of human resource director. She served initially at the Columbus Waterworks in Columbus, Georgia, after her graduation from Southern University. She has been recognized by various professional associations, and I'll just read a few of these to you. Leadership Columbus, Georgia. So she started out in Columbus, Georgia. Then she became chair of Leadership Columbus. Then she became, went to a class of Leadership Georgia, and she also is a member of the Society of Human Resource Management, SHRM. Sharon started out with the Columbus Waterworks in Columbus, Georgia, where she started as a public education manager, then became an assistant vice president for employee and community services, then became vice president of customer and employee services. And then she decided that she wanted to go a little higher in terms of her career. So she became a vice president, a second vice president of employee relations with AFLAC. Now I know all of you may be familiar with AFLAC if you've seen the commercials, where basically they write you a check when you are injured. And so you've probably seen the AFLAC duck more or less talking about AFLAC. She moved to be a second vice president of human resources, moving from second vice president of employee relations, then became vice president of human resource services, and then moved on to become vice president or the chief people officer of human resources. She had 50 HR professionals responsible to her for recruitment, retention, training, development, leadership development, employee relations, policy and procedures, employee services, succession planning, and employee communication. What does all that mean? Well, that means that Sharon can tell you anything you need to know about human resources in a major corporation. AFLAC, which is headquartered in Columbus, Georgia, has over 8,000 employees worldwide, 4,500 employees domestically, and they deal with all of the issues associated with insurance in terms of calls, claims, sales. And so Sharon was responsible for all of the human resource issues associated with these 8,000 employees worldwide. She now works at the Southern Crescent Technical College in Griffin, Georgia, which is south of Atlanta. Sharon was with AFLAC for 13 years. She's been with the Southern Crescent Technical College in Griffin, Georgia now for 10 years. There she is responsible again for human resources in terms of the population of students at the community college, 5,000 students. And she is responsible for the human resource programs there. She runs programs and has been achieved distinction for her development of the human resource components at AFLAC and at the Southern Crescent Technical Colleges in terms of best companies to work for women and minorities, top training 125, the corporate 100. Without going on and on, I guess I should say Sharon can answer any question and can give you advice, especially to our students who are concerned about their human resource development. So I now give you Sharon K. Hill, Human Resource Director at Southern Crescent Technical College in Griffin, Georgia. Sharon, you have the floor.
Thank you so much, Dean. And that sounds like I did a whole bunch. You know, I didn't realize it in all this. As I hear somebody read off of it, it's like, wow, okay, I did that.
I need half of it.
Yeah, that's probably, and then had family and raising kids, all of that in the middle. And, you know, I truly say that today I'm just a country girl from Crowley, Louisiana, and I'm Gigi to 9 grandkids. So that's kind of the role I play. But during the day, I'm still an HR director. During the night, I'm still an HR director. So if anybody is interested in going into that field, please understand you don't ever stop working, because people are our business when you deal in HR. We are in the true business of people. We are in the true business of customer service. We are in the true business of leading organizations and moving them forward. Because if you know anything about human resources, it is the culture of the company that moves the company forward, moves the people forward to enable the company to move forward. So it takes a lot to move steamships. It takes a lot to get people to change their behaviors and attitudes and to get them moving in the right direction. But I would like to say thank you all for allowing me to be a part of your induction ceremony, and thanks for allowing me to become your chapter honoree. I'm truly honored by that, Dean. Thank you so much. And thank you so much, Dr. Powell Deloach, I think now. When Dean asked me to talk about, to speak at this ceremony, I'm like, well, what do you want me to talk about, Dean? And tonight I'm going to talk to you from Sharon, not the HR director. I'm going to talk to you from Sharon from my heart, so that I can share with you, or at least I hope that I can share with you some things that will be helpful to you as you migrate from your college life and move into your work life career. So if y'all don't mind, please allow me to get comfortable with you and have some real talk. And, maybe we can chop it up a little bit at the end. If you have questions, I'll be glad to answer them. I don't know if we have time for all of that, but if not, I definitely will. So when he asked me, I solicited the help of my youngest sons. I said, because I'm accustomed to speaking to audiences, but mostly the audience are of adult workers and people who have been out in the work field for a long time. So I want to make sure that, I could reach your souls and make you move and make you feel a little bit of something at the end of my talk. So I asked my youngest son, and I said, well, Darian, what should I tell him? And he said, well, Mom, you need to tell him that you don't blow up overnight on Instagram. And I guess you guys know what that means. So what he was telling me is that it takes patience. It takes consistency. And believe it or not, it takes a lot of hard work to get to the top of the pile, to make it to the corner office, to be the boss, and to make that big money. Because I'm sure that's always in the back of everyone's mind. You want to make that big money. You don't come straight out of college and be a manager or a boss. As you heard my story, I started in one location and just continued to move up. And the reason I moved up is because, sometimes they would ask me to do things that wasn't really my job, and I said, okay, fine, no problem, I'll get it done. And you have to have that positive can-do attitude to make sure that you get it done. Because a lot of people, when you're moving from college, what you really have to offer is your degree. Now, some of you may have gotten into some leadership positions in, as you do volunteer work. And if you haven't done volunteer work, I would strongly encourage you to do so that you can gain some of that experience. But you will probably most likely, manage a project or a program. But managing people is a whole different story, as I'm sure Dean can attest to. As a HR director, when my staff is reviewing applications and resumes, it's for people applying from jobs. They're coming from all over the world. And so we're reviewing their credentials, because if not most companies, I would say all companies, we want to have the best employees. So, we have to screen against a set of credentials and a set of criteria. So it could be, do they have any work experience? Do they have a college degree? Do they have years of management? Do they have years of management and people? And then what kinds of people and how many people? So we want to know all of that, about individuals before we bring you into our organizations. I've coined a little bit of this phrase, or I talk to my kids a lot about it. I said, you guys grew up in a microwave generation. You want everything now and you want everything in a hurry. But things don't always work out that way. They don't work out that quickly. So understand, you may have to work in some other job until you can get that dream job, the job that you've been wanting all your life, or the job that you've been dreaming of. It may take a little bit of time to get there. As my son said, you don't blow up overnight on Instagram. And I'm sure you've been told a lot by your instructors about networking. You need to find a mentor who is in your field of interest and listen and appreciate their experience, appreciate their wisdom, because I will tell you that this will take you the furthest, and you will hold on to that of what they've shared with you from years to come. As I sit here tonight, I think about some of the things that I'm telling you. The words that I'm saying are coming from some folks who have poured that into me. And have you ever heard of the saying, the squeaky wheel gets oiled? Well, if not, you may want to ask Dean Andrews about that. And I'm sure he can tell you. Because when you go to jobs, especially when you're dealing with recruiters, you bug them to death. If that's the job you want, bug them to death. Send them emails, send them phone calls. Hey, have you filled that job? Hey, do you still have my application? Hey, where am I? Don't just put, because right now we have everything that's electronically. So you submit it and it goes into some black hole. But you can call them and find out, hey, Are you interested in me? Am I still in the game? Am I still on, am I still on track for for an interview? So those are the things that you can do when you're trying to get jobs. And if you're fortunate, get their emails and send them an email and tell them how you would love to work for their company. But while you're telling them how you love to work for their company, tell them what you can offer them. Understand, they're looking for folks all over the world, and you're one of sometimes hundreds and thousands. I remember when I was working at Aflac and we would have career fairs, we would have people show up all over. I mean, it would be hundreds of people to apply for one job. So how do you make yourself stand out in that kind of crowd? But if you send an email to a recruiter, you better come correct. So make sure your grammar is correct and make sure you don't have any misspelled words, because that says something about who you are. Do your homework about those companies. Go to their websites and find out about them, because I will tell you one thing. If you're applying for a job, we're definitely looking and to try to find out everything that we can find out about you, especially if you've made it into that top tier where we're beginning to interview you. Which leads me to this topic. I have two sons. My oldest son, he said, Mom, if you talk to him about social media, Facebook, IG, Twitter, TikTok, and oh yes, Snapchat. Some of us, y'all think we're old and we don't know how to deal with Snapchat, but some of us do. And if we don't, we have recruiters who know how to, because most of the time our recruiters have just graduated from college, and they're the ones who can go and find whatever we need on Snapchat. Be careful what you put out there, because that represents you, that represents your behavior, that represents who you hang out with and what you do in your spare time. I have a Facebook page, and it's Sharon K. Hill. That page is pretty much vanilla. There you can find out that I went to Southern, that I go to church, that I have kids, that I have grandkids, and that's pretty much it. You might see me at certain functions and stuff like that. You'll see me with a lot of stuff from Southern on there. But I have another page that not many people know about. And that's the page where I can talk about politics, or I can talk about religion, and I can talk about things that people consider taboo, or they would be argumentative. Because when you work in corporate America, there's a certain culture that you have to fit in. And if you don't fit into that culture, then they will find ways to remove you from that culture. So some things that are taboo that you don't want to discuss when you move into corporate America, be careful with your religious views. Be careful with your politics. Be careful about some of the things that you and your boys or you and your girls talk about, because everybody doesn't view the world the same as you do. You see, you have to have one work persona. You have to be one person at work. And sometimes that person is not the same person who you are when you're hanging out with your buddies or with your friends. Work is for work, play is for play. And folks at work, they watch you and they will tell your boss on you, especially if you have that nice cushy job and you're driving your little BMW and you come into work dressed very well. Envy has its play when it comes into the workforce. So just be careful. It's good to be friendly, but not too friendly. It's good to share things about your personal life, but not too much and not too personal. You see, I've worked in corporate America, as Dean Andrews said, and I've seen folks lose their jobs because of sharing things that they did over the weekend, and they shared it with someone who they thought was a good buddy of theirs. And the next thing I know, they're coming to me and saying, did not fit in company culture. And that is a legitimate reason that you can terminate someone. So be careful with that. And finally, I thought I could have some participation here, but I guess not. So I'm going to ask a question, and I want you to think about this question. Think about And Dean, you and I have had this discussion. So I want you to think about, what are some of the best universities and colleges in this country? I'll give you just a minute to have a thought. Everybody has something? Everybody has a thought? For those that are on there, could you just kind of give me a nod? Did you have a thought? Well, shame on you if you didn't say Southern University in your list. Because in my opinion, the best university in the country is Southern University. I owe my all to thee. It's where I got my start. It's where I made lifelong friends. It's where I met my husband. It's the college that allowed me to check the box when it said, do you have a degree? It's where I continue to give back my time and my money. So please don't allow anyone to make you feel inferior because you attended an HBCU, ever. If you have problems with Southern, take it to Southern, but take it to the right person at Southern. Instead of putting it on social media or calling the local media, let me tell you, all universities, all workplaces, all businesses have issues, and I've seen many of them. They just don't put it on blast because they know it could tarnish their image. If it tarnishes their image, then that means they can't become one of the 100 best as people do surveys. So please, I love Southern University. And the degree that you receive from Southern competes with any degree from any major college or university. As Dean showed you and you read my resume, I served as vice president of human resources for a major Fortune 500 company with my degree from Southern University. I've traveled all over the country and some places abroad with my degree from Southern University. I've sat at tables, at round tables, and had discussions with business leaders from all over this country with my degree from Southern University. And yes, I walked those same halls of T.T. Elaine. I sat in probably those same chairs that you guys are sitting in today. I ask you to treasure our beloved Southern. Give back when you can to our beloved Southern and take care of it. Did you know that we have a political influencer in the state of Georgia who changed an historical Republican state to a Democratic state? Her name is Stacey Abrams in this last most controversial election. Stacey attended she attended Spelman College. And now the entire country is looking at Georgia for how we will vote in the next senatorial runoff election, as we could change the course of our national government. A Spelman graduate is leading that charge. We currently have a mayor of one of the largest cities in this country, here in Atlanta, Georgia, Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms. She's a FAMU alum. She's also my sorority sister, leading that charge. And now we have our first female African-American vice president of these United States, Kamala Harris, and she attended Howard University. So don't tell me HBCU magic doesn't work. Be proud you attended Southern University. But most of all, make us proud when you walk into those doors at these major corporations that I know you will go to, that you're a Southern grad. And you tell them when you hit the door, say, I graduated from Southern University and I'm on the rise. So thank you so very much for allowing me to be a part of your induction ceremony and allowing me to be your chapter honoree. And thank you for having me tonight. Thank you so much. Dean.
Thank you very much, Sharon. We really appreciate those words of wisdom. And for you, we also have a pen as well as a certificate that you will be receiving. But let me just read what the inscription will say. For recognition of your high professional achievements, you have been selected as a chapter honoree for Beta Gamma Sigma, the International Honor Society for Collegiate Schools of Business, fall 2020. So we thank you very much for all of your achievements. We're proud of you, and we know you will continue to give back as you already have done. Now, you said you wanted to be a little bit more interactive with respect to our program. This is our first virtual program. So I'm going to allow, if it's okay with Dr. Powell Deloach, to let the new inductees, if they would like more or less to ask a question of Ms. Hill. So Asia, do you have a question for Sharon?
Hi, I just wanted to ask, how did you know exactly when you were going to make it? Like, did you know it out of college, or did you know like during the process?
Asia, I had no clue. I mean, honestly, I absolutely had no clue. I didn't get a mentor until after I got out of college and became working. So while I was walking around Southern University's campus, the thing I failed to do, I didn't do an internship. I didn't apply myself as I should have. And then you got to understand the day and times that we attended, or I attended Southern, was a long time ago. You guys have so much more resources available to you than we did. We didn't know about networking, I don't think, back in the day when I was there. So when I got out of college, I had to figure it out, and I had to figure it out real quickly because my mom was saying, you're not going to be here and hang around the house. You know, you got a degree, you got to do something with it. So what I did, you know, I started working, and I went to work, and I tell some folks sometimes I'm a gypsy because I've had so many different kinds of jobs. And I started working my way from the bottom and just came up until I started networking with people at the company that I wanted. I remember I sought out the HR director at Aflac. I wanted to meet her. And I was going to community events in Columbus, Georgia, and I struck up a conversation with her. And because I wanted to be there, I struck up that conversation with her, and she and I talked. We kept in contact with one another. I would ask her all kinds of questions about HR and, you know, how the company was working, until they came and asked me to come to work for them. I truly, really did not apply for the job. They came, tapped me on the shoulder and said, hey, how would you like to come to work for us? And you can be this. So honestly, no, sometimes it takes a minute to figure out where you want to go. But once you figure it out, then do your best, study the craft, you know, study your craft, make sure you stay abreast of leading edge technology about what's going on in your field of study. And then that way you'll figure it out. Believe me, you will. It takes a little bit of time, but you will do it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hey, Devin, do you have a question? Devin there? Okay, we'll move on to Whitley. You have a question, Whitley?
So I don't have any questions.
Muted. What about Amber?
Yes, sir. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we hear you.
I just have a quick question. So I know how Miss Sharon was talking about like how social media is such a big thing now. Um, what would be some tips you'd give someone on building like a successful LinkedIn account? Because we're so like social media based now.
Yeah. Make sure when you put your information out there on social media, show ways that show the first thing, I got so many things popping in my head right now that I want to say. I want you to make sure that you show your leadership experience. If you volunteer, any volunteer organization that you work with, if you're in that volunteer organization, like this organization is a great example. The Beta Gamma Sigma is a great example to make sure that you place that on your resume. Make sure that you say that some things that you've accomplished, maybe some projects that you were working on and how successful those projects were, because you don't have enough experience to build up the kind of resume that I have. So make sure that you have information that shows how you've worked at, you may have a part-time job, but if you had the part-time job, show how you improved operations or processes at your part-time job. You want to show how you can make things happen, if you understand what I mean.
Yes, ma'am. I understand. Thank you so much.
Did that answer your question?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay, Jasmine.
Yes. I know you mentioned that you wish you would have had an internship while you were in college. Is there anything else that you wish you would have did that you didn't do?
I probably, let me see how I say this very professionally. I probably should have studied a little bit harder. Because I'm not going to say that my grades were horrible, because they weren't, but I probably could have applied myself more than I did, because I was I always say I'm a high achiever. And then when I got to college, I kind of fell off because I wanted to, I'm away from home. I'm a small town girl. And so I wanted to see the big city lights of Baton Rouge. And so, that party life kind of crept in there, and I saw it. I saw it in my grades. I suffered, but I recognized it quickly and then got them back up, so that back in, I don't know, when you're pledging, you have to have a certain GPA in order for you to pledge. So I made sure that my GPA was up enough for me to do that. And it's just. I think I'm going to leave it at that. But that's some of the things that I probably should have done better in order to, in order to achieve probably. But I'm not going to say that I'm not achieving anything, because honestly, I have been truly blessed. I've been blessed materialistically. I've been blessed with friends and family, and I thank God for charting my course and helping me along the way, because like I said, I was a little country girl from Crowley. I like to walk barefoot and have my little cut off shorts on, and I guess sometimes would have been considered somewhat of a tomboy, but it's just, you got to find your path. You've got to find your path. And when you find your path, then you have to stay on it, and you've got to learn your craft, and you don't ever give up.
All right, well, Sharon, you're in the
Thank
top,
you so much.
you're in the top 10% now. You're in Beta Gamma.
So it can't happen.
So Cameron Parks,
No, I didn't have any questions.
you sure you don't have a question?
Mm.
You've done your
No, not,
internship and all that?
sir.
You've done your internship and all those sort of things? You've already got your job lined up?
Not really. I've been actually looking for internships.
Okay. All right.
Well, Dean, we are working on the advisory council. I think we've been submitting information or sending information. I will tell you, companies now are looking for internships for the summer. They're looking for them right now. So if you know of a company that you would like to go to work with, call them, contact them and say, hey, look, are you guys doing internships? Or go to their websites. Like if you know that you want to go to work for one of the big 5 or accounting firms, and I know they do internships, most of them do. So you can go on their website, you can go and take a look and see if they do internships and then apply to them, because that's what you have to do the internships. You have to apply to them, and you have to, by Beta Gamma Sigma, that should at least get you an interview.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
You're welcome. And I want to say this, when you go to your interviews, be positive, be upbeat, because I've seen some people lose a job because of the way they presented themselves. They were just kind of, hey, how you doing? You know, yes, my name is Sharon Hill and I'm from, and we were like, oh my God, you know, no way are we hiring this person. And I mean, that just happened to me the other day. I had a gentleman come in and his resume was perfect. And even, I mean, we've made, in most cases, sometimes we've made up our decisions as to who we want to hire when we look at the paper, when we look at the resumes. We know who are the top candidates. But we need to see you interact with us when you come in for those interviews. And this guy was all but hired. But when he showed up and his attitude was so lackadaisical, we were like, nope, you know, he didn't make it. He did not make, just be excited about being there. If that's not your personality, you got to learn how to sell yourself. And you can't sell yourself by being humdrum. You got to sell yourself by always being positive, have a nice smile, have a firm handshake, look them directly in the eye. That goes a long way about telling the story of you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Let me just say to all the Beta Gamma Sigma inductees, right now we have nationwide insurance that's looking for interns for the summer. And I think they may have also some permanent jobs that they want to provide. So if you go out on Southern University Handshake, please sign up, because they're begging people to come for their interviews, which will be Tuesday of next week on Handshake. So if you don't have that information, check with your department chairs, but go out there and really sign up, because they really have some great job opportunities.
And Dean, what about PricewaterhouseCoopers? Are they looking for our students as well?
Right.
Yeah, so go out there and go and find them. Go find them. If you want.
They can check with Dr. Gabriesos in the accounting program.
Yes.
Okay, well, let's move on to Ms. Ross, Maria Ross. You have any questions for Ms. Hill? Okay, I guess Maria may not be there. Okay, well, let's move on to the graduate students. John, are you there? Brittany, did I skip Brittany? Okay, Brittany, you have a question.
Yes, I have a question.
Go ahead.
So as a human resource director, what key components stand out to you on an applicant's resume?
It all depends on the job. It all depends on the job that we're looking for. Each job brings its own set of what we call it requisite requirements, prerequisite requirements, you know, and so those job descriptions are written. And you can always ask for a job description prior to an interview. People don't know that, but some people do. And you know, it would be like, well, is it possible that you could share with me the job description? Or because you see a job posting, and so once you see the job posting, then you should know right then and there that those are some of the things that they're truly looking for. But I want to give you a little hint. Those things that are on that job posting, you know, you can write your resume, the things that they're looking for, but make sure that you have them. And you can put them like down at the bottom of your resume, and you write the words, instead of how, you know, how you have a black font, there is also a white font. And you could put all of that information down there at the bottom If they're saying that they're looking for this, and this, then you could put this, and this down in the bottom of your resume, but you put it in the white font. Because you see, we have search engines, and these search engines go out and they search for those criteria that's in that job description or in that job posting. If you have it down there at the bottom of your resume, then your resume will pull up to the top of the pile. Isn't that simple?
Yes,
But you got to make sure you have those credentials.
Okay, well, let's
Yes,
move
ma'am.
on
Thank
over
you.
You're welcome.
to the master students. And so you might have some special information for the master students because they already have one degree. So John, are you there? John Assam. John, do you have a question? Okay, what about Austin?
Yes, sir. I have a question. Yes,
I know
ma'am.
you. I thought you would. You're a human resources management concentration. So you know what
Yeah.
you're getting yourself into.
Yeah, actually, I work for Southern as a human resource generalist. So I've been dealing with the Affordable Care Act,
Yes.
hiring orientations, deductions. I've basically been veering through every part of HR in my position.
Good.
You got your question?
It looks like he froze.
Hmm.
Looks like he's frozen.
Okay, we'll come back to you, Austin. What about Rashad?
Oh,
Oh, I think he's back. Austin?
yeah, I'm sorry. My connection a little bad.
Yes, you froze on us.
But I just have one question. I participated in SHRM. I was the vice president of SHRM for Southern University's MBA
Wonderful.
program. And with that, I've been awarded or been aware of the SHRM certifications. They have multiple. Outside of those SHRM certifications, what are the major certifications you recommend for someone who is building their career in human resources? And also, do you think those SHRM certifications truly matter?
Yes, they do. And to be honest with you, you got to understand, yes, now they do. People look at you want your SPHR or your PHR, they definitely do matter. And then there's some, on the compensation side, there's also some certifications that you can get on compensation side. I started out as a generalist, and then we started narrowing some of the disciplines, narrowing them down. When you get to be a director, you have to have probably the HR generalist background. You need to know a little bit about all of the facets in HR, which there are many. You've got to know all of those. And I will tell you, yes, the certifications matter. If you're interested in going into the leadership role, the SPHR is the one that I would get. I would pay particularly attention to that. I'll be honest with you, I don't have either. And the way I came up with, and I keep saying back in the day, it makes me seem like I'm really kind of in age there. I don't want to believe that, but I guess I am. We learned HR through the world of hard knocks. You had to, it was a lot of trial and error, but HR now is so legal. There are so many laws that are involved in human resources, because in most companies where they're going to get their heaviest lawsuits and the most publicity in the media is when you treat people unfairly, or when they think that they've been treated unfairly, because they can file EEO on you, and then EEO gives them a right to sue. And then when the media picks up that they've given Coca-Cola, an employee from Coke or an employee from Aflac the right to sue them, that becomes newsworthy. So everything that we do is highly, highly legal, and you have policies and procedures in place in your organization. And the biggest way for you to get sued is if you don't follow your own policies and procedures. And so we are the keepers of that. HR, I think most people think that the role of HR is for the employee, or some people may say the role of HR is for management. But the role of HR is we're the keeper of the policies. We're the keeper of the procedures. We make sure that procedurally, those things that we have put in writing that says this is how we're going to operate, this is our culture, we keep that. We make sure that those policies and procedures are followed. So it's not that we're for the employee, or it's not that we're for the management, we're for the policies. And if you understand that, that's the area really that I truly love the most. That's the one. I hate compensation. I really do. Yeah, I just don't like it, but I know I have to live in that world. You know, so if I have to do something with compensation, I go, oh God, and it's one of the last things that I do. But the world of employee relations and labor relations, that's where you know, that's the, to me, that's the kind of glitzy stuff, because you get into all kinds of things.
Yeah.
I think he froze on us again.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
All right. Well, thank you. You answered my question.
Okay, you're welcome.
Okay, Rashard Hicks, do you have a question?
Yes, I do. Aloha, Ms. Hill.
Hi.
I was wondering if there's any books or literature that you recommend for future HR practitioners.
Gosh, I have, well, a lot of the magazines I'm going to say that I read are they come from SHRM, or they come from, God, I can't even think of the, I can't even think of the name of the magazine, and it's sitting right there on my desk. But it's more of magazines that I read from the trade, from HR, that are provided. Like if we're doing training magazines, and training is a part of HR as well. You know, you can read some stuff about the 100 best companies and how they train their employees. Or the magazine that I got this month, it was like Guiding with Compassion, you know, because right now everybody is going through COVID. And that's the last article I read, you know, because everybody is going through COVID, things are changing, you know, we're in an ever-changing world. So how do we be compassionate to our employees, because we're putting them through all kinds of hurdles and hoops, you know, and things are changing so quickly. I mean, one day we went into work, the next day they told us to go home, pack up your laptops, pack up your whatever, and now you're going to work from home. Many of us had never worked from home before. You know, how does that feel now? I mean, when I came home and we started working from home, I thought it was a wonderful thing, because I was like, oh, I can work in my jams, you know?
Right.
But the thing that happened is that I found myself, I was working from 6:30 to almost 9:30, 10:30 at night, because people knew I was at home. They knew I was answering the phone. They knew I was emailing. And I was like, oh, this can't continue. So I had to find, you know, a happy balance for me. And then, you know, because my role is to continue to keep a culture of the culture that we continue to have when we were at work. So it's, you know, that, like I said, that's the last article I read. It was like, you know, Leading with Compassion. But the book From Good to Great is also a good resource for you. You can go and read that book, because it delves into all kinds of companies, and it tells you, you know, what they do to make their company, how they took their company from good and then they moved it to great. So those are some of the things that you can, you know, that you can read and look for. And then, you know, you can go on the website and look for HR related topics. They're all over the place. HR is an animal that, until you work there, and Austin, you probably can attest to this, until you work there and work in HR, it is, it's a different world. You will come home tired. You will come home tired. It's a lovely feel. I love the work that I do. I promise you, I do. I love working in HR, but HR can tax you heavily. What do you think about that, Austin?
Oh yeah, I know it. When you're salaried and don't get ain't no doing it overtime pay. You gotta get it done. So
you gotta get it done. Gotta get it done. So you work at Southern, Austin?
Yes, ma'am. I work under Miss Tracy Woods and Miss Don Harris.
Okay, well, tell Miss Woods that I said hello.
Yes, ma'am.
She is my line sister.
Oh.
Okay, tell her I said hello.
Okay.
Rashad, I'm sorry, but did I answer your question?
Sure did. Thank you.
Rashad,
You're welcome. Thank you.
Okay, Johnny, do you have a question? Johnny Lewis. If Johnny's not there. All right, Tanjo, do you have a question?
Yes, I do. I just really wanted to find out, are traditional degrees still a priority in terms of hiring these days? Because what we're seeing right now is the guys who are getting the certifications are pretty much getting all the jobs. So I just wanted to find out from you as an HR specialist if traditional degrees are still a priority in hiring or they're running out. Thank you.
No, they are not running out, Tanjan. They are not, and I don't think they ever will. If you're going into corporate America, your degree means a lot. If you're planning on getting a job in corporate America, you have to have the degree as well as the certifications. I know when I worked at Aflac, they definitely looked at your MBA and made sure that you had the accounting, but then they also wanted you to have these certifications. So they want both. And I will tell you, especially for your accounting students, and I know you've gotten your MBA, but if there are undergrad students who are working in accounting, when I worked at Aflac, we only wanted accounting majors that had a 3.8 and above. So if you're, because they didn't think that you took it seriously if you didn't have a high enough GPA. And the thing about it with accounting majors, you go straight into your job and they expect you to know the work, because if you make mistakes, it could be very costly to one of your clients. So they want to make sure that you know the work and that you studied your craft. So yes, the accounting, the degrees are necessary to get your foot in, but you also will have to have those certifications.
Thank
There's
you.
there's no ifs, ands, or buts around that, especially in accounting. Okay.
Well, Sharon, we really want to thank you for going the extra mile in terms of serving as a ad hoc mentor for our Beta Gamma Sigma and hopefully this will not be your last interaction with our students.
Oh, I hope not. I mean, this is my passion. I feel like you guys are sitting right here in my dining room around my table, and this is what I love to do.
Okay.
So thank you for allowing me the opportunity.
So when COVID-19 is over with, history, we'll all come to Atlanta.
Oh, I'll have you all. We'll have a big old pot of gumbo and red beans and rice, and we'll do good.
I have one question for you. For my students who may not have a 3.8 GPA to go into an accounting career, is there anything they can do other than have a 3.8 GPA?
Oh, I'm not the accounting major, but I spoke to Mildred Carruthers, who graduated from Southern, and she has two sisters. And, you know, like if you don't want to go into corporate America, you can start your own business. Accounting is always necessary in all kinds of other fields because somebody's got to learn how to pay the bills and somebody has to learn how to keep the books. So there are several different disciplines that accounting can take you. There are several different ways where accounting can take you. You know, starting your own business. We have three gentlemen who serve on our advisory council. Joe Robbins is right there in Baton Rouge. And I think Mildred told me that her sister has an office right there on Harding Boulevard. So I'm sorry?
Bonnie Jackson. Bonnie, yeah, I know her.
Okay, and she says her sister is right there, and she was, you know, willing to have them come, and if they wanted to talk to them as well, you know, we could set something up for them if they don't have the high GPAs, and they just wanted to talk to them and say, these are some other fields that you could go into if you don't want to go and work in corporate America. So they have, because a lot of guys go out and they start their own tax businesses, because you have lots of small companies, and these small companies can't afford to have, you know, folks who can do their books for them right there. So what they do is they hire these tax accountants, and you get several clients, and now you've blown up and you've got your own business.
Okay, then. Well, Dr. Powell, I'll turn everything back over to you if you have any closing remarks.
No, Dean, I don't have any closing remarks. I will defer to you to close out our program.
Hey, well, we want to thank everyone tonight. I think this has really been a very informative Beta Gamma Sigma induction ceremony. Although it was not in the traditional manner, I think we actually had additional information that was shared. And so I hope we can continue this tradition. Hopefully COVID will not be with us forever and we will have our traditional induction ceremonies. But again, I want to thank all of the individuals that put this program together, especially Dr. Howell Deloach. Also want to thank Dr. Omanuk, thank Mrs. Banks, and all others that helped more or less with this program. We really want to thank special tribute to Miss Sharon Hill for all of the information she shared with us. And we also wish her well in terms of the programs she is developing as a part of the College of Business Advisory Council. Also want to announce that if any of you are golfers, that there is a golf tournament that we will be holding in the spring. So if you are golfers, we hope to see you there. Also, I really want to again emphasize, please sign up for the insurance, nationwide insurance career opportunities for Tuesday, November 17th. I think it's at 2:00 p.m. So please sign up for those career opportunities.
Dean, can I make another little plug if you don't mind?
Go ahead.
Especially since you brought up about the golf tournament. At that golf tournament, there will be lots of individuals who own their own businesses, who are in all different kinds of disciplines, who can actually, you know, they are owners of those businesses who could possibly offer you jobs or just get to know you, or you may want to set up a networking or a mentorship type of opportunity with them. I know that they will be glad to. We're going to have our meeting, Dean, that Thursday, and that Thursday night, we're trying to set up a reception so maybe they can come and meet those individuals and just kind of have we can introduce them especially, you know, and they can get an opportunity to meet them and maybe ask them more questions one-on-one in a more comfortable environment, you know, where we're just kind of mixing and mingling around. I think that would be good. And I want to mention that there's a Tangia Sanders. I did see your comment in the chat. Yes, we do. We owe our all to thee. Thank you. And congratulations, students. And congratulations.
Okay, if there are no further business, then I guess we will close. And so thank you very much for your attendance tonight, and we look forward to seeing you at our next function. We will also have our College of Business Gala on the Bluff. We will be sending out information about that program, which will be a virtual scholarship fundraiser. And so we would like for you to watch that program as well. That will be on November the 27th. I think the time is either 7 p.m. or 8 p.m. I'm not quite sure, but I'll get that information to you. So we want to thank you for all of the work you've done and all the achievements you've made here for Beta Gamma Sigma. So thank you very much and good night.